You know, you just missed the best monologue I've ever done. I don't think I could ever top that, but unfortunately, I'm going to have to, because I'm going to have to say hello and welcome to the Onyx Path News again. And, these things happen. I'm going to blame the heat, the enormous, the extravagant, the frankly oppressive heat that is going on out there today. I'm sure all of you are aware of it everywhere around the world. Doesn't matter where you are, which hemisphere. It's hot. It's hot today. Even if it's winter where you are, it's damn hot, too hot. And all I can really blame is the sun gods. Every one of them. I would usually point a finger at the Titans too, but today I'm going to blame the gods. I mean, there can't be any scientific reason for it. And, I'm sacrificing a great deal for you being here today, listeners, viewers. I should be sat here with a fan blowing in my face, because in the UK we don't do air conditioning. Air conditioning is for sensible people. We will just put fans in the room and, try and circulate a bit of air. It's often a fruitless exercise. So right now, during this recording, I've got the windows open, which provides no breeze, but does provide a steady stream of oxygen and heat. Therefore, we will try and keep this brief, so that I can return to my coolness for at least 5 minutes before I then have a recording, because I'm being interviewed regarding Aether. I've already mentioned two of the games that I need to talk about in this episode of the Onyx Path News. So let's talk about Trinity Continuum Aether first. Trinity Continuum Aether is going to be on Kickstarter on the 19th. That is tomorrow as of time of recording. This is our steampunk 19th century War of the Worlds League of Extraordinary Gentlemen Aether spinning and time unwinding game. It is coming out, as I say, on the 19th on Kickstarter. As always with our Kickstarters, if you back, you'll have access to the manuscript ahead of everyone else. Plus, you will also be able to, of course, pledge money towards not only getting yourself a PDF or a hard copy book. There will also be interesting tiers, and we will, of course, have our usual bank of stretch goals lined up if this game does particularly well. When you do an expansion to a core setting, Trinity Continuum, it's always a risk. We don't know how well something will land. So far, the enthusiasm for Aether has been quite good, especially with regards to the Aether serials, the fiction that we've been posting on the Onyx Path blog. There's been a fair amount of discussion about it on the Onyx Path Discord and on the forums. So I'm feeling optimistic, but we shall see. We shall see how we do. So make a bookmark. Check on Tuesday, because that's when the Kickstarter is going live. There's more. There is more, however, because last week, as I said, it's hot. Last week, we released the Player's Guide for Scion 2nd Edition. It's been a long time coming. I know a lot of people have been waiting for it. Saints and Monsters, the Player's Guide. And this gives you options to play outside of the realms of your usual Scions. It's got rules for playing sorcerers. It's got new callings, prophets, all kinds of things going on in there. And I've mentioned many a time before, I love a book that has utility. I love a book that can appeal to multiple players, partly from a design perspective, partly as a role player myself. I like a book that has options in it, and partly as someone who wants my books to do well. While this isn't one of mine, this is one of ours, and so I know that books marketed to players tend to do better than books targeted at a specific section. Luckily, I think our hopes have been borne out on this case, because it is already a gold seller on DriveThruRPG. That is good news. But if you haven't checked out the Player's Guide yet, please do. The link is below. We would love it if you did take a look, because this is a game we've all worked on very hard. It has taken a bit of time to get to where it is now, but it's a beautiful book, as all of the Scions are beautiful books. And the content within it is rich, it's utilitarian, you can use it across many a game at many different power levels as well. I very much recommend checking it out. I hope you do. We also have the ongoing 10th anniversary sale. I will be talking about the sale until the end of the year, after all. And this week is a very special one, in my opinion, because this is where we start getting into the Chronicles of Darkness games I consider, and I do like Requiem, I do like Forsaken, I do like Awakening, but this is where we get into interesting territory. This is where we deal with Promethean 2nd edition. This is where we deal with Geist the Sin Eaters 2nd edition. This is where we deal with Changing the Lost 2nd edition, and where we start poking around in some books you may have forgotten for 1st edition Mummy the Curse, some of the Hunt of the Vigil supplements that we did. There's lots of bits and pieces here. Beast the Primordial, Demon the Descent. There's a lot of games on offer here. And the reason I say this is the interesting thing is because, and this is special, is because I would guess the mainstream of gamer is going to come in with Vampire, Werewolf, or Mage. It tends to be the case. And that means they may actually miss some of these other games. Given that they are now on sale at 10% of the regular cost, I think now is an absolutely fine time to pick one up and see whether you can broaden your gaming horizons. See if you can convince your gaming group to play. And if you can't convince your gaming group to play, there's a wonderful place for you to go. It's the Onyx Path Discord. There's a looking for group server on there where you can pitch your games, where you can say you want to join a game or where you want to run a game. I also recommend you can go into the game-specific server and say, hey, I'm intending on running a game of Promethean, let's say. And this is what I always tell people. Be upfront. Say, I'm learning this game, so I'm ideally looking for a group that wants to learn the rules with me. We may have to slow down occasionally, talk through the rules together, and make this a fun and learning experience. The reason I say that isn't because I want you to deter the established role players who already know. It's because there's a lot of role players out there, and we've got over 1,000 people on this server who feel intimidated about playing a game for the first time because they don't know the rules. There's something really appealing to putting in the header, the description essentially, this is a new game for new people. We want you to learn with us. It removes some of the barriers, basically, and I think removes some of the stigma that sometimes comes with, I'm running a game for the first time. I've got to memorize an entire core rulebook, and if I don't, it's going to be a failure. That's not true, and advertising it is, in my view, a good plan. I see we've got some of our regular viewers here. Elaine, hello. We also have a Jadash Schneiderman, and we also have Awkward GM Corbin. Demon was the first Chronicles of Darkness game I played because my friends knew I was a Matrix fan. It is a very good Matrix-esque role-playing game. I'm trying to remember now. When I ran Demon the Descent, what good while back now, mine was less Matrixy. Oddly, my Mage the Awakening games always went a bit Matrixy. Mine was certainly more John le Carré 1970s Cold War-esque. That was my, I guess, vein through. There was also there was a lot of Auton-based horror, Doctor Who Auton-based. Yeah, I'm just remembering it now. Wow, I've not thought of that game in quite a long time. I run a lot of games for my at-home groups, my Patreon groups, and so sometimes I actually forget stories I've told, and I think, oh, actually, that wasn't too bad. And yeah, I remember having a lot of fun with Demon the Descent. So do check it out. If you would love to play a game like that, Demon is a place to go. But I, of course, strongly recommend Promethean. I am a big fan of Promethean 2nd edition. And hell, because they're all 10% of their regular cost, you could probably afford all of them. Not that I can speak to your financial situation, but it's a very low cost to get in on any of these games at this point. The other thing I want to point out before I go is we do have a content creator form below. It is in the video description. What does the content creator form do? Well, I will tell you. It very simply allows you to submit a podcast, blog, video, actual play, whatever it is you happen to be doing that is public, that is related to our games. If you happen to be creating media, tell us. Use this form to tell us, because if you don't use the form to tell us, I can't promote it. And every Tuesday, we put up the media blog on the onyxpath.com to advertise these various pieces of media that are being created. And if you don't tell me, I will probably miss them. I do try scouring the internet, but the best place to inform me is by using the form. So do remember to do so. Anyway, that's me done. I'm going to try and cool off for a little while before I am being interviewed about Aether for the Opcast. And so, yes, I will see all of you again next week. Bye-bye.